Welcome to The Art Box, your podcast dedicated to exploring the vibrant art scene in Nevada and beyond. Join us as we embark on a journey through galleries, theaters, studios, public lands, and streetscapes, meeting the artists, curators, archaeologists, nature lovers, and cultural influencers who shape our creative community and our world. Whether you're looking for your next cultural adventure, seeking inspiration for your own artistic pursuits, or simply curious about the world of art, tune into The Art Box. Together, let's open up a world of creativity and imagination. Let's dive in.
Dreams, what if the night is about you and me? So lift your head up to the sky.
Hi friends, Steve here with the Art Box Podcast. You've probably noticed it's been a few weeks since our last episode, and maybe you've wondered where we've been. What we've been up to? Well, the answer is we've all been creating, growing, and living our passions in 100 and maybe 1,000 different directions. So today's episode is a quick catch-up, a peek behind the curtain, a breath between brushstrokes. Before I dive into all of our updates, let's start with a little celebration. As of today, the Art Box Podcast has released 362 episodes, and thanks to you, our loyal listeners around the globe, we've reached 11,700 listeners across all 50 states and now 77 countries. That's an incredible community of art lovers, storytellers, and curious minds. From our small studio here in Mesquite, Nevada, to wherever you're tuning in from, thank you for listening, sharing, and being part of the Art Box family. For me, much of my time has been devoted to my new role as chair of the Mesquite Works STEAM Center. It's been a whirlwind of planning and purpose as we look toward growing our programs to make a positive impact on our Valley's young students, inspiring their curiosity in science, technology, engineering, art, agriculture, and math. STEAM. We're keeping all of our programs free to students, which means we're launching our end-of-the-year giving campaign, STEAM, into 2026. The STEAM Center is a true source of community pride, a place where kids explore, create, and imagine their futures. You can learn more at mesquiteworks.org, and if you feel inspired, consider helping us spark the next generations of makers, scientists, and dreamers with a small donation. Wearing my other hat, my work with the Mesquite Public Arts Commission continues to keep me busy, but joyfully so. Our proudest accomplishment lately has been launching the Mesquite First Friday Family Art Walk, a monthly celebration of arts, community, and family in our little Mojave Desert town. It happens on the first Friday of every month, right in the heart of our Arts and Historic District on Yucca Street. Speaking of that district, we recently unveiled a beautifully hand-drawn map created by our episode 102 guest, Jen Urso. You can view it online at mesquiteopportunities.org or pick it up around town. Public art is alive and thriving here in Mesquite, so come visit us and see what we're painting into the landscape. Co-host Suzie White has been pouring her heart into her show, Meanwhile in Mesquite, where she shines a light on local nonprofits and creative voices in our town. You'll find her around town hosting open mics, encouraging poets, entertainers, and yes, even comedians. You can listen to Meanwhile in Mesquite on Spotify and support her mission to keep our community connected through storytelling and laughter. MJ Stiles has had quite the adventure herself. She and her husband just returned from a 30th anniversary trip through New England and the Canadian Maritimes after an extended stay in Vienna, where she helped settle a family estate. Her recent work on our heartfelt episode, Echoes of Belonging, with Edie and Bill, became one of the most popular episodes ever. It explored adoption and the search for identity with such honesty and grace. Thank you, MJ, Edie, and Bill. Now, MJ is deep into producing a 3-part series following a Tom Petty tribute band. And knowing MJ, it'll be thrilled with humor, humanity, and great tunes. Sandi Randelle is wrapping up book 3 of her thrilling vampire trilogy of Blood and Consequences, due out on December 1st, just in time for the holidays. You can grab all 3 on Amazon. For the Art Box, Sandi's also crafting a special feature exploring how the beatnik movement still influences contemporary art, and I can't wait for you to hear it. Another major focus for us lately has been our upcoming Harvest of Thought series, our special celebration of poetry and essays. We're on track for a November 1 release, and this project truly has been a labor of love. So far, 40 authors ranging in age from 5 to 90 have recorded their own poems and essays. These episodes will be heartfelt, soulful, and deeply human, a harvest of words for your ears and your heart. We often get emails asking about some of our past hosts, so here's a quick update. Rochelle Knight, who founded the Art Box with me, is happily painting away in Salt Lake City. Her bold, colorful works brighten homes across the West, and in our own community, the Power Box is here in Mesquite. You can follow her on Instagram at RRKFineArt. Linda Harris, our most prolific podcast co-host, has been traveling, hiking, and dancing, and posting her trademark joyful photos online. Linda and I are preparing for a two-person art show called Two Paths to Wonder at the West Charleston Library Gallery in Las Vegas, running November 18, 2025 through January 25th, 2026. We've also been keeping an eye on some of our amazing past guests. Case Johnston from episodes 334, 335, and 139 continues to earn well-deserved praise for Let the Wild Grasses Grow, now an award-winning screenplay adaptation. Jeannie Hua, one of our favorites, episode 186 and 289, has been exhibiting across the U.S., including a solo show in New York City. She even co-hosted episode 342 with me at a Las Vegas Buddhist temple alongside our friend Tanu. It was around 100 degrees, and we did it in the courtyard, and we were both sweating profusely, and it was certainly an interesting episode. Kristen Harris, episode 61 and 158, is now starring a ranch musical, a love letter to the rural American West. And her trio just earned a top 5 nomination for the 2025 Group of the Year. Don Michael Jr., episode 126, will have his album art tribute series on display at the Charleston Heights Arts Center in Las Vegas from October 30th through March 3rd, 2026. And Alina Lindquist, episodes 98 and 236, continues to travel and exhibit worldwide. I had the pleasure of seeing her latest solo show at Walking Box Ranch and Aviquame National Monument. As always, her work left me speechless. Some of you know we've long been fascinated by synesthesia, the blending of senses that turns sound into color or touch into music. We first explored it with Nancy Good in episode 142, and later with Laura Hales, Christine Casano, and Monica Martinez. That thread eventually inspired a Calder Blackwell Alternate Realms episode titled Enlightened Senses, a meditation on perception and creativity. And speaking of alternate realms, some of you have already discovered our new sister podcast hosted by my slightly more speculative alter ego, Calder Blackwell. Alternate Realms is where we stretch the edges of imagination, diving into what-if worlds that blend art, science, and history with a good dose of wonder. We've explored questions like, what if humans couldn't see the color red? Or what if ravens became the dominant species on Earth? Each episode takes you on a thoughtful, creative detour, part philosophy, part storytelling, all curiosity. So if you enjoy these deep dives and wild possibilities, come join us over there too. You can find Alternate Realms exclusively on Spotify. Before I move on, I'd be remiss not to mention our ever-curious research assistant, Addison. Now, Addie's been, well, let's say busy in her own universe. One day she's digging through digital archives of obscure 19th century paint formulas. The next, she's fact-checking the migration of patterns of ravens in Latin. I asked her last week what she was working on. She told me she was cross-referencing lunar shadow differentials in the Mojave. I said, Addie, we're just recording a podcast. She may not sleep, but she does keep us on our toes and occasionally sends me down research rabbit holes I never knew existed. So if you hear a random fun fact about Victorian ink chemistry or the geometry of tumbleweeds, you can probably thank Addison. And hey, if our next episode suddenly sounds a little smarter than usual, you'll know Addie wrote half of it. Before I close, I want to take a moment to honor Robin Brailsford, our episode 81 guest and an early supporter of the Art Box. Robin was a bright light, always encouraging, always generous, and her words helped us believe we could do this. She leaves behind her partner, Wick Alexander, himself a remarkably talented mosaic artist. Robin's influence will always be part of our story. So yes, we've been a little quiet, but never still. Each of us continues to explore, to grow, to create, and to celebrate this big, colorful world of art and ideas. Thank you for listening, for supporting us, and for believing in the Art Box. We'll be back very soon with new voices, new stories, and maybe a few surprises. Until then, keep making, keep imagining, and keep your heart open to the art all around you. Oh, hang around for just a few minutes more, and we'll give you a sample of some of the poetry and essays that we'll be featuring in our Harvest of Thought series coming up soon on November 1st. This is Steve signing off from the Art Box podcast.
This is Heather Lang-Casera, reading an excerpt from my book, Firefall, with Unsolicited Press 2025. This poem first appeared in the Heavy Feather Review. Every theater has a ghost. You were the one to cut the illusionist himself in half with your follow spot, to light him at low level, to hold the cable with perfect tension in the dark before the shift in zenith, and then coil quickly hand over hand to walk past mirrors. Oh, such sweet tchenda, meant to make it seem as if no one were there. To witness the showmen parade around the passerelle on stoic stallion, as stark white as the lies we now tell ourselves. Yet, amongst tigers with names like Mirage, who could remember that horse that appeared only once per show, but whose hooves shattered the lights within that palatial stage each night? You were the one who fixed them. When you returned home after midnight, smelling like Manticore or cashmere, your house cat would hiss, demand you cry pecave, and then rub her face against your penumbral black denim, telling you where you belonged. What did she sense in herself in the ingravescent afterthought of those beautiful beasts? Was it magic? Ossified? Too familiar?
Our friend Annie McKenzie recorded at the 40th Annual National Cowboy Poetry Gathering 2025.
The road is rough, and we're weary travelers. We've had enough. We're hanging up our spurs. Can you let us go? Can you give us a break? 'Cause I don't know how much more we can take. I hang my head, the sweat drips from my brow. I wonder if the dead are better off somehow. They're finally at peace, letting their bones rest. The sun rises in the east, but they don't chase it west. For me, there's no reprieve. So many years left to come. They say that I can't leave with so much left undone. I've still got a heartbeat, but it plays discordantly. Romantic hearts bleed for a life portrayed dishonestly. You see, I paint a sunset with my words, write a song to hoofbeats, speak in loving verse, hope a sonnet secures peace. The sun is beating down, and I say that it is shining. There's lightning in the clouds. Call it a silver lining. Clouds of dust twist up from dry ground, and I put it in a rhyme. The way I make it sound, I wasn't choking at the time. Put it into poetry, the West romanticized. But you don't really know me. I might be living lies.
Broadcasting from the Mesquite Works STEAM Center in the scenic Mojave Desert, the Art Box sponsors thank you for listening. You can find us on Spotify, Samsung, iHeartRadio, Podchaser, and Amazon Music. Please subscribe so you don't miss an episode. We are on Facebook and Instagram as The Art Box. We welcome all comments. You can email us at artboxvv@gmail.com. The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of its hosts and guests and do not necessarily reflect those of our sponsors.